Hello and welcome back to the channel. Yesterday I posted a video on Gamecube emulation on the Odin handheld, and I used the MMJR2 emulator and thought it was a pretty good experience overall. A viewer called Pixely Same commented, "Man, just use MMJR, it's faster than MMJR2. So that got me thinking, because I did feel like I was able to fix some of those stutters in Wind Waker on the Powkiddy X18S. So I went back and tested 15 games on MMJR. Is MMJR faster than MMJR2? Let's check out the games I tested and talk about it. So obviously before I made the previous video, I just assumed that MMJR2 was going to be more up to date and a faster, more improved version of MMJR. Now, unless you do a bit of research, you wouldn't really know which was the better emulator, or even if the differences are worth using one emulator over another. If you use MMJR2, you're generally going to have a fine experience for about 70 to 80% of the games, while maybe 20 to 30% just need a stronger processor or don't emulate well. However, after testing 15 games on MMJR, there is some slight differences, and it does seem like it's a little bit faster. That I think for the majority of people out there looking for the best performance, it just makes the most sense to use MMJR. Now with yesterday's video, the video is technically correct and all the games were labeled with the MMJR2 emulator, so I have not deleted the video or made it private, but I'll leave it unlisted so you can watch the video if you like. Or you can check out the spreadsheet I've made which lists the testing that I've done. Just click on the Gamecube MMJR tab at the bottom of the page, and the spreadsheet, I'll leave a link in the description below. I'm testing all these games using US ROMs, and if ever you feel like it's hovering between 50 to 60 FPS, it might be a good idea to just use the PAL ROM. As you guys know, I rate the games using my performance scale: bad, okay, good and great. Just to give you a little bit more of an idea of the performance scale, bad and okay games I wouldn't really play on the system, and good and great are fine and playable, though may have some issues. From there, I try to break down just how bad the game is or how good the game is, and that's how I determine where on the scale it lies. Let's start with Call of Duty 2 Big Red 1. Now this was the only game that actually performed better on MMJR2. On MMJR2 it can still crawl in the single digits, but it's mostly between 10 to 20 FPS and can even go as high as 30 FPS. On MMJR, however, just about nothing makes this game run above 10 FPS. I tried overriding the emulated CPU clock speed, and it did get a little better, but it also looked like it was skipping frames. Either way, I wouldn't really play Call of Duty 2 Big Red 1 on Gamecube. F-Zero GX is a weird one. It has pretty large frame rate drops at times, and it even looks like it's running a bit faster and feels really twitchy. On MMJR, the performance is much improved over MMJR2, but I get the feeling something is still not quite right, so I've rated this as okay for now. Let me know in the comments if you've tried F-Zero GX and what you think of it. Legend of Zelda Wind Waker has a forest area that is notorious for some slowdown, and I knew about that having tested it before on the X18S and MMJR. Now it's only after testing once again on MMJR it's clear to see that MMJR2 has issues here. There's still some tiny stutter, but overall it is much better. I didn't have any other issues with this one, so I've rated the performance as great. Mario Golf has some stuttering and audio crackling in the menus, but otherwise runs great. Mario Kart Double Dash plays just about perfectly here. Likewise, Mario Tennis runs great as well. Medal of Honor European Assault surprised me a little bit on MMJR2, and there were quite a few frame rate drops, but it was just about playable. On MMJR, this is actually pretty good. Some slowdown when it gets demanding, but otherwise holds up well. Metroid Prime runs at mostly 60 FPS, though there are dips to 55 and even 50 FPS at times. You could try the PAL version if you wanted to have a smoother experience, but on the whole I think the US version is pretty great. I'm trying all 3 Need for Speed games again, so let's start with Need for Speed Hot Pursuit 2. There's not a lot of difference here. It's marginally better if anything, but I wouldn't say this was good performance, so I'm going to leave the rating the same here and say it's okay. Need for Speed Underground is slightly improved. On MMJR, the game appears to have an unlocked frame rate around 30 to 35 FPS, while on MMJR2 it's around 30 FPS and dips below. It does look and feel a little better, so I'll rate this as okay. The same goes for Need for Speed Underground 2, where it's slightly improved as well. With that said, I don't think any of these 3 games were that good. The frame rate was uneven, there are stutters everywhere. I suppose you could play it if it was your only choice, but I think there are way better performing races on the Odin. I'm only testing one Pokemon game here, and that's Pokemon Colosseum. This plays great in MMJR. Smash Melee still has some stutters and slowdown, so I'm only going to rate this as good. Soul Calibur 2 does seem a little improved under MMJR. In MMJR2 it would dip down to 55 FPS quite a bit, and in MMJR it does this a lot less. Viewtiful Joe surprised me the first time. On MMJR2 it was averaging around 45 FPS for quite a few areas. Here, using MMJR, it runs really smoothly at a locked 60 FPS. That's it for this one. Thanks for watching this GameCube showcase. The conclusion should be pretty obvious. Use MMJR if you want the best GameCube performance on the Odin handheld. Next up, I'll be testing PS2 games on the Odin handheld using Ether SX2, so make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.